Good morning, Wrestling Inc. Get up, get going. Happy Wednesday. I hope you are ready for some fun pro wrestling punditry today. It is me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here as I am every Wednesday to have some fun, to talk the pro wrestling news the past 24 hours. It's our good friend, comedian Brian Wohl. Brian, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Good morning, Nick. Excited to be here. Great NXT last night. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, we're going to get into NXT here just a little bit. Some of the highlights coming out of it, some news, some big debuts last night on NXT. Big debuts that can leave a bruise. In some cases, very bruising men, big men.
Big.
Yeah. So we got a lot of news to get to here today. Later on in the show, you're going to get a double dose of Court Bauer. You're going to get to hear Raj Giri's conversation with Court. Of course, tomorrow night, MLW Fightland is going to air on Vice after Dark Side of the Ring. Also, MLW is holding a press conference today, and I'll be on the call and I'll be asking a few questions. So, for brevity's sake, we're just going to include my questions and Raj's full interview back to back in the interview segment here later. I think we'll do Raj first and then me at the end. I got too much Court Bauer content today, Biwo.
That's never a problem, man. Court Bauer is always fun to listen to.
Oh, yeah. Great guy. Really smart mind for the business. MLW doing some really awesome stuff right now. Opera Cup, of course, now fully in swing. So excited to have Court here later on in the show. At the end of the show for everybody, we're going to dive into the mailbag. We got a lot of WWE news to talk about here from last night. But we're going to talk about AEW in the mailbag. We're going to look at tonight's casino ladder match, maybe who the Joker could be, right? And, of course, it's the second year anniversary for AEW Dynamite as well, Biwo.
Oh, man. How amazing that it's been 2 years of Dynamite. It's crazy that all this time has passed. But, man, a lot of great shows, and tonight's going to be pretty awesome. Feels like a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it does. And, before we get into all the news and stuff here, I'll just call it out, a couple minutes before we hit the air. There was reported there's an active shooter down at a Texas high school in Arlington, Texas. It's a very scary situation, a reminder of the very rough world that we sadly live in at the moment. And I just want to send my absolute best to anybody who's being affected to that fight right now. I'm positive you're probably not watching this show, but if you are listening to us after the fact, if whatever, my heart goes out to everybody, man. It's kids of that generation where, the school shooting thing was, kind of an anomaly. It really just breaks my heart, man, to have to start my day watching something like that, So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You want to talk some wrestling? Should we talk pro wrestling?
Please. That's what I know a lot more about.
Okay, wonderful. Do it. News you can use. News that'll leave a bruise. We're going to talk about WWE NXT 2.0 last night. Couple of big debuts. Of course, the big one. Parker Boudreaux officially arrives on the scene in NXT 2.0. His name is just Harland, not Gunnar Harland, not Parker Boudreaux. Just Harland. He's got this new bald look, which is terrifying. So after Super Woke Joe Gacy defeated Ikemen Iro in singles action, Gacy helped Iro up, hugged him. He was all smiles. He was putting up the peace sign in the air. He stopped at the entranceway. He looked up at the stands as a man stared down at him, and that was Harland. Harland, he has this new shaved haircut. Like I said, it looks like this could be the first NXT feud for Gacy, or maybe a tease that these two men are going to be working together. And it sure felt to me a lot more like these two men were going to be working together. I don't know how you felt about it, Brian.
Yeah, at first I could barely recognize him. I didn't realize who it was. And the look really reminds me of when Batista was Leviathan. It's a lot. I'm getting like big Leviathan vibes. So I feel like maybe that's what they're kind of seeing in Parker, in that like maybe he's like a Batista type. And I'm Joe Gacy's a big dude. You wouldn't think that Joe Gacy would need a heater, but man, if there's anyone that could be a heater for Joe Gacy, it would be Harland.
It is. So it seems like there's been some. I don't know if this was the plan all the time to get to this point, or if this was like a response to all the press they got and they changed the plans. But because had we heard this theme music before, this like Peace Love Charles Manson Beach Boys song? This was okay. So this was all new. We'd only really just see Joe Gacy in the ring cutting promos, acting some like smug, woke individual, right? You pair him with the music and the peace sign and stuff. I got some big Manson vibes off that last night, B-Wo. Big Manson vibes, right?
Oh yeah, and Joe's playing it very well. I really enjoyed the match. Also because Jiro is awesome. I love Ikemen Jiro. He's so good. But I thought it was just enough. We saw just enough of a preview of who Joe Gacy is and what he can be, and it was very exciting. Although when we didn't really enjoy the promos and we didn't enjoy the root of the character a little bit, it's clear once you get them in the ring and the bell rings, these guys can go.
Well, and it's a twist, right? Like, okay, this was the third beat, right? We've gotten 2 weeks. Here's the third beat. Time to drop, whatever is going to set the tone here. And, I actually, I'll give it a shot. I like the idea of like a Wyatt-esque kind of Manson type family. Always has kind of worked historically, I think, in pro wrestling. I don't really feel like I no longer feel like this is somebody that is like identified. I get it. You're using maybe woke verbiage in a way that I have to watch this show because I do this show. I don't know if somebody in their mid 30s that had maybe left WWE for AEW watches Joe Gacy and are like, yeah, okay, cool. This brings me to the table. But they put a twist on it this week. It became something different. And that's why I want to kind of see where it goes. Because you put him, Harland together, Dexter Lumis, who was not seen last night. I can easily see Dexter Lumis becoming a disciple of a Joe Gacy alongside a Harland. And all of a sudden, that's a group of killers that I'm very compelled by,
Yeah, and then also, God, the heartbreak of what would happen with Indy. Would he break up with her? Is there a divorce looming? So many things. That's a fun idea. I like you're thinking on that, Nick. That's cool.
I hadn't even really thought about how it plays because like it's clear they want to present Gacy quickly as a main eventer for NXT. This guy's got a match with Ciampa next week,
Yeah. and like I don't see how, like, if he doesn't beat Ciampa, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. He's gonna get in a lot of offense. It's clear that there are big plans for Joe Gacy.
Yeah. I'll read a couple comments here. Rob Humphrey, Nick is scaring me. I like the idea of a Manson-esque family. Who did like what was Raven's flock, right?
Yeah.
Come on. I'm not saying that I want to like support the Mans. I'm just saying that's the group of crazy cult members. It's always been kind of fun to watch historically in professional wrestling. I
mean, I feel like what's kind of nice about this is we have a potential triple threat with Ciampa, Gacy, and Braun Baker, kind of setting up who could be Braun Baker's next opponent, a possible heel to feud, and Joe Gacy could lead a stable of heels that would be a factory of guys for Braun Baker to run through. And I feel like that's fun.
Yeah, Daniel Price, they had to change up Bordeaux's look so he gets less baby Lesnar jokes. He did not look like as much like Brock Lesnar last night as he has in other photos. So.
He certainly did not. And the different camera angles, the lighting, everything really, really changed his presentation.
Daniel is saying Raven's flock was a bunch of emos hanging out together. And while true, what is a cult? What is a cult? It's not a bunch of emos hanging out together.
I mean, yeah, Dark Order is kind of that too. It's just they're a lot friendlier.
So also, as we're talking, like you say, you brought up, the tie with Indy. They're obviously trying to present Joe as like a main eventer. Really does open up some work with him and Gargano. Maybe, maybe there could be a female component because NXT right now. Not that it's bad. I mean, AEW does a lot of this. It was very popular in the 90s, but a lot of stables at the moment, a lot of factions. I think like kind of cult member faction. You got the the cartel kind of gimmick with the Santos Escobar's crew over there. Hit Row just left, but we're gonna have to see some new stables kind of fill in those gaps.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's funny you bring up Johnny Gargano. Did you see he changed his Twitter profile today?
I did not. What is? Should we check it?
Yeah, he switched it. It no longer says NXT Superstar. It just says Pro Wrestler.
Hey, let's see here. I'm gonna pull up Johnny Gargano's Twitter here.
Some juicy stuff today.
Some juice. Oh yeah, here we go. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it just happened this morning, a little bit before. Oh, here's my dog Blue. He decided to pop up. Hello, Blue.
Hi, Blue. We're all looking at Johnny Gargano's Twitter right now. Yeah, you can see right there. A pro wrestler, Clevelander. Be yourself and outwork. And then there's a website, Johnny Gargano's Source. What's that?
Ooh, I didn't see that.
Let's all find out together. I love this. I like when we can real time. Host ad. Oh, this is his website. Has this been around for a long time?
I guess so. It looks like it. That's a pretty old design.
Okay. Well, the last post was from May, dude. I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe do something with your website. Anyway, that doesn't. Neither here nor there. Neither here nor there.
I don't know. I think it's interesting whenever people remove the company they work for from their profile. That's usually a signal for something.
Kevin Owens did something like that recently. I think he's now. Oh yeah, he's just Kevin. He's not Kevin Owens. It's Fido. It's just Kevin, not Kevin Steen. Just Kevin.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Kevin. Just Kevin. Just
and
Kevin.
I also saw a thing on Twitter yesterday. Kevin Owens tweeted out something to Liv Morgan. Apparently, he and Liv Morgan have switched brands every draft and done it together. They're like, oh, it's always those two.
Huh.
And then Britt Baker responded by saying, it's interesting how that happens with this emoji. And I thought that was really fun. Britt Baker kind of stoking speculation about Kevin Owens and maybe even Liv Morgan. I don't know.
Yeah, all right, cool. Everybody just stirring the pot these days. That's the world we live in professional wrestling right now.
Hey, man, that's fun. That doesn't hurt anybody. I thought it was good stuff.
Well, something that a lot of people seem to think is good stuff. Tony D'Angelo also finally made his in-ring debut on NXT 2.0. As we wrote on the site, the Mafia-connected amateur wrestler. What a phrase. Defeated Mallet, Blade in singles action. The crowd is obviously behind this guy, Brian. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know what it is. It's just a cartoon character of a mobster. Is it like an ironic kind of joy? Like we don't really know if we like you, but we want to love you because I don't know. But people seem to like Tony D'Angelo quite a bit.
He, I have to say, I did not enjoy his vignettes, but the second he got out there and just started walking to the ring, I was like, okay, I feel something when I see him walking. And then he tries to bribe the referee. I laughed. I was like, all right, okay, man, you got me. I'm gonna give you a good shot. I enjoyed him. And man, he pulled out some great stuff too. I'm excited to see this dude wrestle.
It is. It's a very fun character. By the way, Dave in correcting me. He's not in the Mafia. His family is in environmental management, right? It's different. It's different. If you wanna watch a great show or great documentary about the mob, and there's like a pro wrestling reference in it, it's called Untold, the Trashers. It's about this amateur hockey league in Connecticut. And it turned out that the people running it were using it as money laundering and were massive gangsters. But the league was very successful and popular. And as part of the 17-year-old kid who's running the league, it's a long story. He, as a kid, his dad's like mob connected, and he like loved pro wrestling. And for his 10th birthday party, he's like, so my dad just got some WWE superstars to come to the house. And it's like The Rock in his prime. It's like Triple H, China, Billy Gunn. It's just 10-year-old's birthday party on like VHS tape, and it's amazing. It's a very fun watch, and it's very Tony D'Angelo-esque for all of you out there enjoying the character.
I've got to check that out. I feel like that kind of thing is something that's great for like those Conrad Thompson podcasts. There's got to be somebody that has a story of how that connection was made. That's cool. I would love to hear about that.
Yeah. So Tony D'Angelo in the mix. People love this guy. He's a mobster. Also, maybe he murders people, right? Maybe him and Gacy, they share that in common.
Man. We have like a lovable murderer and then a creepy murderer, and then like maybe they feud, and in the middle, like Dexter Lumis is
he's deciding who's my friend. Oh, that could be like they try to win his services. Oh, okay. Sure.
And then Goldberg could always just show up and say he's going to murder people too. There's a lot of murder this week in WWE.
Yeah, and AEW for that matter. Let's not forget. Let's not forget Armed Anderson and his Glock.
What is with this? There's so much threats of violence.
Gonna carjack me. Take my Glock. All right. So yeah, also the show, I saw somebody earlier, I forget exactly who it was. The chats are coming so quick. But we had somebody talk about how as great as Harland and D'Angelo's debut was, there was really only one star on the show last night, and that was Braun Baker, who's quickly been positioned as a centerpiece for the show. He's going to go up against Tommaso Ciampa. That match is going to go down at Halloween Havoc. As Ciampa issued a call to anyone in the back who wanted to accept his challenge. It was Baker who did. And Ciampa also said you got to have, asking who has the big enough balls to take the belt from him. A lot of people tweeting the word balls last night because we're all mature adults. So, Braun Baker, I thought really, it's hard to argue. This guy's got something special. I wonder if they go the distance and put the belt on him right away or not.
I don't see how you don't. This guy feels like the real deal. They keep adding new wrinkles to him. Last week he got to do a little bit more promo time, and he had a little bit of Scott Steiner-esque vibe to him in his promo last week. And this week they have a siren go off at the beginning of his theme song, and I was like, oh man, when this guy starts doing math, or something like, people, how can you not? And he's wearing the leather jacket like his dad.
Yeah.
Just so many things. It all feels so real, and I don't know how you can't be on board with this kid.
Maybe they should just, I don't know, give him the name Steiner at this point, right?
Oh, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Look,
isn't that crazy?
It took somebody like Donovan Dijakovic. It's a word garble, I understand, but you named him T-Bar. I think we can rebrand Braun Baker as Rex Steiner, and I don't think anybody's going to care. And you don't even need to have him wicking Molotov cocktails out there. You just do it, and I think people will be there for it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to doubt anything that happens with Braun Baker. Bronson Rick Steiner is the real deal. You just feel it when the guy walks out there. You feel it when he talks. And when the bell rings, he looks like he's the real deal.
I like Samantha's comment here. I'm surprised Ciampa didn't ask who had ruthless aggression. A callback to when Kurt Angle brought out John Cena and jump-started the whole C-Nation movement there. Look, that's a really great comparison, actually. I had thought about that, Samantha, but that's a really good comparison. And I definitely was sitting there thinking to myself as I watched that opening back and forth, I just really like this storyline. Like the way Ciampa is selling like that, Braun, it's like for him, he's probably already looking past his title. But for him, this title is like everything. Win or lose, I'm compelled to see what Ciampa looks like on the other side of this thing. And hopefully probably the same way for Braun Baker as well.
Yeah, I feel like this is an opportunity to reboot Tommaso Ciampa. If he does stick with NXT, then this could turn him into a heel again, a desperate man, doing whatever he can to hang on to the NXT that he used to know. That's really fascinating. And yeah, I definitely see the parallels with John Cena versus Kurt Angle. Even with Braun's debut, a couple weeks ago, they did that backstage of everybody shaking his hand, giving him the thumbs up, very much like Cena's debut. It feels very familiar and feels good.
We also have we had one last bit of news I thought coming out of the show last night. What an in-ring debut for Cora Jade. Kind of similarly to Tony D'Angelo, where we'd seen vignettes or less vignettes, but we'd seen her around. She comes out, looks like she's going to take on some local enhancement talent. She's got her own tiny little skateboard, right, by the way. Out comes Frankie Monet, Robert Stone. They lay out this enhancement talent. Frankie hops in the ring. Competitive back and forth. Frankie largely has the advantage. Out of nowhere, Cora Jade sneaks out a victory a la 1, 2, 3 Kid last night on NXT.
Totally didn't see that one coming. I'm so shocked.
Yeah, but wow, great. I mean, it's not like Frankie Monet is going to be hurt by this at all. It gives her something to do, if anything. We've been kind of waiting for Frankie Monet to get fired up about something, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot that we have yet to see from Frankie Monet, and I'm glad that we get to see her with Cora Jade. And I think this is a great opportunity for Cora Jade to wrestle one of the top women in the business right now. Frankie Monet has been all around that isn't WWE, and so Frankie Monet has a lot to offer the young Cora Jade. But what an upset! It was a great match. She looked great, and also we saw her boyfriend Trey Baxter out there, and there was already like a little bit of tension between Cora and Trey because Trey lost his match, and Cora was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. You'll pull it together." What happens to Trey Baxter if Cora keeps having success and he is not able to overcome his obstacles?
Oh my goodness, that's some real drama right there. I hope it doesn't outside the ring, right? And they're not trying to purposefully mess with this very nice young couple that they have under their roof. No, I'm just kidding. It's good for them to have something to do. I mean, if anything, you're right. Like, it has me asking questions and like interest in like what's going on with the two of them. I couldn't stop looking at her tiny little skateboard and thinking to myself, is this some kind of dig at Darby Allin? Is this some kind of like we're gonna take your skateboard, make it tiny, painted pink, and give it to like a girl? I don't know.
Maybe. You know who impressed me last night? I was really surprised with the change in style for Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose really changed up her in-ring ability or her in-ring style last night. And there's some hints at some cool things to see in the future for Mandy Rose.
Yeah,
really dug that.
I love that group. By the way, Adonde, in real time, as I was saying that, said, did she always do the skateboard deal, or is that an idea taken from Darby? I think we're thinking the same on Adonde. I think we're thinking the same here. There's no coincidences in pro wrestling. Everything happens for a reason. It is. Yeah. It's weird like that. All right. Well, jumping over to Raw here real quick. WWE issued a brief alert last night to tout the Raw ratings and viewership, which for whatever reason I didn't copy paste here. But you know what? I got it emailed to me, so I'll just read it from my emails exactly what they sent to me. This is it is titled WWE Draft Delivers for Raw. Good evening. Last night's edition of Monday Night Raw featuring night 2 of the WWE Draft was watched by 1,856,000 viewers, up 9% from last week. Furthermore, Raw scored 680,000 viewers in the 18 to 49 demo, up 10% from last week, and that was credited to Nielsen. So WWE very happy here. I believe this was like the third best viewership they had for their product in many months, and good for that. I mean, did night 2 deliver for you, B-Wo? Do you think you did the right thing with all them eyeballs on them there?
It wasn't my favorite episode, but they had some good matches on the night. I feel like WWE has been doing a good job of leaning into their minority superstars, putting them more to the forefront, and kind of showing us who the future of the company is. That I liked, but still, things are still all over the board. They're still coming together. They're in recovery mode right now. They're scrambling.
Yeah, I'm optimistic on Raw. They needed some names. They just needed star power. Like, it was so obvious with like Roman over there, and then Becky went over there, and Bianca's over there, right? I mean, it was really lopsided. They did, even when Brock came back, and then like Raw got Goldberg, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, cool," So, I mean, I think the move with Becky to Raw, Edge to Raw, Seth to Raw, I think that there was just some good additions to their brand, and I think it's going to be hopefully a better product over there now because of it.
Oh, I'm certain. Seth Rollins was Mr. Monday Night forever, and I think he'll do a great job helping to lead Monday Night Raw. With Lashley, all those guys over there, and Becky Lynch. She gets her own show. Roman's always going to be number one guy on SmackDown. You're never going to beat that dude. So it's good that Becky's got Raw, and I think it'll give someone to chase. Bianca someone to chase. It'll give all the ladies in Raw, somebody to go after. I think there's a lot of good things about this draft, but still, yeah, it's clear things are still coming together. We still have to wait, what, 2 more weeks, 3 weeks until these draft picks take effect?
I'm a little confused by that one, BWO. That one's a head scratcher there. Why we have to wrap up? I mean, I guess I understand. A crown jewel. You want to, I guess, maybe use that as everybody's going to be saying their goodbyes. Closing time by Semisonic will be playing in the background, for the next 2 weeks as these people prepare to clean out their lockers and go to other figurative lockers, I guess. I don't know.
I was kind of surprised that we didn't see more about the draft on last night's NXT. I thought there might be another draft pick that would come up there, or they'd talk about it more than just, Hit Row being like, hey, we're leaving, bye.
Did they really? I mean, I think maybe in passing made a comment about Ridge Holland when he came to the ring with Pete, but that was like about it, right?
Yeah, and that was so weird. The Pete Dunne match, it just felt like it didn't belong on NXT 2.0. It felt like we were seeing something that was left over, and I don't know. We're in this weird purgatory right now with WWE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but sometimes that's what allows for interesting things to happen. But it's hard for any of the shows to be consistent and entertaining top to bottom while we're in this purgatory.
Yeah. Well, as we talked about Raw, there was one more news item coming out of the Raw news cycle before we get to Court Bauer. And then we're going to talk some AEW stuff in the mailbag. So stick around. I'm very excited about the mailbag conversation here today. But Dana Brooke apparently responded to comments made by Corey Graves during her loss to Shayna Baszler on WWE Raw. Graves said, I'm all for giving people time to develop, giving people time to realize their potential, but on a long enough timeline, you got to cut your losses. Graves said of Banks. He went on to say, you could give me a chest full of tools. That doesn't mean I could build you a house, okay? It's a matter of putting things together, and Dana Brooke, in my opinion, hasn't exactly done that. Pretty stiff. Even by wrestling standards, that's pretty stiff, and it's like real, which makes it worse, right?
Yeah, that feels like it wasn't from Corey Graves' brain, but what the hell was that? I hope it's something that is giving Dana Brooke a story or something to move with. But even so, when you bury a talent like that, the audience gets that idea in their head. You tell them someone's not important and someone's a failure, that's what they're going to think. And so, I don't know. I hope Dana overcomes this. She's done a great job. Everything she's been asked to do, she does. She almost always takes the big hit from whatever happened, from whatever new babyface they bring in. Dana's almost always the one to wrestle them and then get her butt whipped. And that's not her fault that she's booked that way.
Yeah, and Dave in here saying, it might actually rally people behind Dana. And I hope, but like a lot of times I feel like with the women, they get their 2 weeks of a hashtag and then they're like, back into the mix. Unfortunately, at the moment, like I always feel like WWE feels they have like a hashtag time. Like they used to react to that stuff. Now they're just kind of like, I think, give it exactly 11 days and this will be done. We have a cycle for this.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't understand what the deal is breaking up Shotzi and Tegan Nox. They have 2 wins over the tag team champions and never got their title shot. It's just, there's just so many things that don't add up. And you're like, how is this helping them? How is this helping the program? There's some things that seem very counterintuitive, especially within WWE's women's division.
Well, Brooke took to her Instagram stories and apparently responded to Corey Graves. She wrote, you cannot entertain everything, regardless if it's indirect or direct. Let people do what they do best. Talk. Y'all act like y'all gonna die because somebody said something about you. It is not that deep. You cannot stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. Once you entertain a clown, you become one. Woman waving emoji, you the clown, clown emoji, I'm the queen, queen emoji, I keep pushing through, watch me work. was she defending Graves or attacking him there? Because I kind of came across to me like she was upset that people were responding in a way where they were going after Graves. Maybe she felt like he was just doing his job. I don't know. I was weird. It's a weird response.
I have no idea. I looked at this story because I was like, what is this? What does this mean? Maybe I'm missing the tone of this. And I thought maybe there would be an image attached that would help me understand context. But I don't know, man. And also referring to herself as the queen, it's Charlotte's gimmick. So this is not in character. This is Dana talking, as Dana, I believe. And I don't know. That's weird. It's weird stuff. Whatever it is, I hope things work out, and I hope they're not messing with her head. WWE does that. They mess with talents' heads, and they try to, I don't know, push them in a certain way. I don't know if it's a coaching method. It's definitely something to watch and keep an eye on.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, B-Ro, thank you for joining me at Top to talk the news of the day. Thank you to Court Bauer for the time on both for the time with Raj, both on the time with the media call as well. Go check out MLW Fightland tomorrow, Vice TV, right after Dark Side of the Ring. On the show tomorrow here on the Daily, we're going to welcome Alicia Atut, who is going to be a part of MLW Fightland on Thursday night as well. And I'm hearing that the president of Wrestling Inc., Raj Giri, might be making an appearance at MLW Fightland. I shouldn't say might. He is. So he'll be a part of it. I don't know how much I can and can't say. I don't really know that I've read the bullet points they sent me for the interview yet. But Alicia's a part of it too, and really cool for everybody. So very excited about that. So come on back tomorrow for more MLW talk. But today, at the moment, the question over at Wink Daily, WINC Daily. We're at 1,297 followers right now. You could be our 1,300 follower. It's totally possible. And that's my favorite number. So go follow us if you're not following us already. Today's poll question, who do you think is going to win tonight's AEW Dynamite Casino ladder match? Not Casino Battle Royale. Casino ladder match. Here's the field. I got a video. I got the photo up if you're watching us in video form right now. Pac, Orange Cassidy, Andrade, Moxley, Matt Hardy, and Lance Archer. And then in the back here we have the Joker. Who's going to be the Joker? The results here for the poll, 32.4% think Andrade will win, 5.2% think Lance Archer, 4.3% Matt Hardy, but 58.1% of fans seem to believe it's going to be some kind of write-in Joker other figure. Brian, who do you think is going to win the casino ladder match tonight on Dynamite?
I gotta assume that it's the Joker. I know Lance Archer is more of a tweener now, but I feel like it's got to be a babyface. You need somebody that's going to feud with Kenny Omega, or at least give Kenny Omega something to work off of. Somebody that could get screwed over maybe in their match, and then that would result in some sort of feud with members of the Elite. Maybe Adam Cole, protects Kenny Omega here. But I feel like it's got to be a babyface. So for me, that rules out Andrade, Pac, and Matt Hardy. So there's a chance for Orange Cassidy. There's a chance for Mox, chance for Archer, chance for Joker. But I feel like it's going to be the Joker. And Hangman Page is hanging out there, man. We got to see that Hangman story come through.
Yeah, RKO XX Kane says, gotta hope Hangman is Joker. A lot of people seem to think that Hangman might be the Joker. Antonio Garcia is going to be the Joker. Bryan Danielson or Hangman, right? I also like here, Dave in, wild card, Tony D'Angelo. I don't think that's... Well, I'll go the other route. I'm actually feeling like we're going to see a heel winner come out of this, because I think at Full Gear, this is maybe just me talking out of school, just kind of putting the pieces together on my own. I would think that's where you're going to get Kenny Omega, Daniel Bryan too for the title, right? Like Daniel Bryan's going to go out right now. He's going to win matches every week on Dynamite and Rampage. He's going to make his case. And, just before, Full Gear here next month, a couple weeks out, he's going to be ranked number one because he won 5 matches in a row or something like that and didn't lose any, and they're going to set it up. And I think on the other side of that, we're going to see whoever wins this ladder match enter the fray. I don't know that we see them enter the fray. Maybe I could be wrong, but I think Daniel Bryan takes his title from Kenny Omega. I don't know why you would do this long of a chase here and have this much hype around it. And on the other side of that, I mean, I look at this field. Joker could be cool. Hangman back in the picture. Sure, why not? But I think Andrade, man. Like, I think Andrade, Daniel Bryan, they tear the house down. I think that or Bryan Danielson. I'm leaning Andrade in this situation. He's been pushed really. I mean, he's been presented pretty well as, you know, in AEW to boot.
Yeah, and he hasn't really gotten that big signature win yet. So that would really help him. But I don't know. It's hard to imagine a heel match with Kenny Omega, but it, you know, could happen.
Yeah, 100%. Well, hey, everybody. That's going to bring us to the end of the show here for today. Brian, I want to thank you so much for joining me once again. Again, tomorrow we're going to be back for the big show. I'll be talking with Alicia Toot. We'll have Paul Pratt, a.k.a. Polio Del Mar, in the house as well tomorrow. So always good. She's got a fabulous interview right on the horizon that's going to be premiering next week. And, of course, the Wrestling Inc. Daily presented by WrestlingInc.com. We're on all your favorite social platforms. And the Wrestling Inc. podcast, much like the daily, streams on Wrestling Inc.'s YouTube channel and socials. Only it does it at night after the big shows, including tonight after Dynamite. So be sure to check that out. Support the Wrestling Inc. podcast. You can subscribe to that in podcast form, just like you can the daily on your preferred platform as well. Brian, what do you want to put over here to wrap up the show today?
Oh, man. This week's episode of my podcast, My Favorite Friendship, I studied Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, Book 8, to learn about Aristotle's views on friendship and how they still apply today. It's pretty wild. This dude was around 350 years before Jesus, and his stuff still holds up.
Wow. That's heavy. That seems really heavy. What did you learn about friendship after studying Aristotle? What does he think of it?
Man, Aristotle thinks that there's 3 types of friendship. There's friendship of utility, friendship of enjoyment, pleasure, and then a friendship of virtue. And almost every friendship starts out of either needing someone to do something for you, or maybe you enjoy each other's company. But when you find out that you have similar values and virtues, that's when you have a deeper friendship, which he calls the friendship of virtue, the true friendship.
That's awesome. I feel like I am back at college right now. I need to read. Period. I should read. I don't read. I write. I talk.
Yeah.
Should read more. I watch. All right, BWO, wonderful. Go check out My Favorite Friendship. What an awesome show. I'll be back tomorrow, everybody. At Nick_Hausman is where you can find me over on Twitter. Leave the show an iTunes review, everybody. If you like the show, go leave us a nice comment, 5-star rating. That stuff is helping us out. I checked Chartable this morning. We're back in the top 50. The top 50 pro wrestling podcast, the Wrestling Inc. Daily, in the pro wrestling section, right? Let's try to get, we got, I'm not kidding, the listenership for the show just kind of keeps doubling, which is awesome. So let's try to break the top 25, maybe top 20 by the end of the year. I think we could do that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We keep getting so many great interviews. I'm excited. I loved your EC3 interview.
Yeah, but screw the interviews. We're the draw here, BWO. We're the draw. Me, the co-host, we're the draw. BWO, they're just tinsel on the tree. We're the tree, mighty tree. All right. What a wonderful, positive way to take the show out today. I look forward to talking to everybody tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it. Goodbye, everybody.